Here we go, another jump forward. This is A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles. So, as we go on this musical journey, I find out more and more about how the band revolutionized or moved the genre of music, or just music as an art form forward. And I spoke about how in the last album, they revolutionized album covers, even the fashion, the haircuts that they presented. It was all one package, which was the Beatles. Well, they did a very similar thing on this album. This is actually a soundtrack to the film of the same name. So half of this album, side one, is all songs that feature on the actual film. Now I tried to look up whether or not this was actually the very first time that a band did a film to accompany an album, and I couldn't find whether it was the first. It's certainly one of the very early examples of this, with many bands following suit. You think of musical acts that came even many decades after. Think of Michael Jackson and his reliance on music videos, or even Prince with Purple Rain, the film, Kanye West with Runaway. Music videos became tied to an album, to a band, to music, and this may have at least been bumped forward by this album here. Now, one of the other interesting things about this album is that this features all original music. So one of the things I was talking about is, on the previous reactions, they did a lot of covers, which I think is normal for a band which is finding their feet, but these are 12 or 13, it depends on which release, original tracks by the Beatles, all written and credited to Lennon and McCartney. So we get another chance to look at the continued evolution of this band in terms of writers and artists. This is A Hard Day's Night by the Beatles.
It's been a hard day's night,
Interesting start.
and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I work all day to get your money to buy a thing, and it's worth it just to hear you say you're gonna give me everything. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel okay. When I
Really interesting start. I just want to make a note of the opening note of the track. I don't know, maybe I look too deep into things. That's kind of my job here, but is that like a way of kind of signifying, well, this is the start of something new? Starting with a very strange kind of, I think that was a guitar chord to start with, right? Like, that was the old, this is the new, this is how we're starting things. Let's keep this rolling, take it back a bit.
feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right.
I think that's a cowbell.
When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log.
I really like that
But when
guitar
I get
part.
home to you,
Very
I find
deep
the
in the
things
sound.
that you do will make me feel alright. So why on earth should I moan? 'Cause when I get you alone, you know I feel okay. When I'm home, everything seems to be right. When I'm home, feeling you holding me tight, tight, yeah. It's been a hard day's night, and I've been working like a dog. It's been a hard day's night, I should be sleeping like a log. But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright.
The English wit is
You
always
know I
there.
feel alright. You know I feel alright.
Love the sound of that. That has to be George Harrison, right? With those fantastic guitar sounds, as usual. It's such a unique style to the way he plays guitar. Okay, so growth. Growth is really what I'm trying to track with these albums, especially the way I'm listening to it, right? I'm actually going in chronological order now. I can totally hear it. That was one of the things I was thinking about going into this thing. Am I going to be able to connect with this music from 60 years ago, not being connected to the culture at all? At least can I track the growth? Well, I think both of the things are happening, right? One of the fantastic things about this channel is listening to music in the era and comparing it to all styles of other music that was going on. This certainly sounds like it's different, or at least doing things that are pushing it forward. It sounds like songwriters that have really found their niche. They're making pop music with ease now. They've kind of worked out the formula, if you will. Specifically Lennon. I think this is a Lennon-led track. Most of these tracks are Lennon written as well, I believe. Yeah, this dude, as I was saying in the last track, I think at this point in time he was a little bit ahead of McCartney. Maybe because he's older, he has more experience, but this is him really understanding the formula of how to make a hit. That's brilliance, man. That's brilliance. Understanding how to connect and resonate with large numbers of people in the time. It's fantastic, man. Okay, cool start. It gives me a kind of idea of where we are with this album and what kind of sound they're going for. So let's check out the next track. This one is I Should Have Known Better by the Beatles. Harmonica's back. The melodies.
That I would love everything that you do, and I do. Hey, 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 and I do. Whoa, whoa,
Lennon does love that harmonica, doesn't he? Now, like, noting the sounds and the differences between the sounds in each album, again, a jump in the melodies, what they're doing here amongst this backdrop, the way he was weaving in and out of the instruments with that melody, another jump forward, if you ask me.
I never realized what a kiss could be. This could only happen to me. Can't you see? Can't you see? That when I tell you that I love you, oh, you're gonna say you love me too. Oh, and when I ask you to be mine, you're gonna say you love me too. Love, you gotta give me more, give me more. Hey, hey, hey.
Interesting, the writing as well, right? One of the things about the early tracks that wasn't for me was actually how simplistic some of the writing was, and they're no longer so like kind of two-dimensional. Now he's asking for more from the girl. If you give me more, then I can reciprocate, right? More depth to it.
Give me more.
Must be Harrison again.
Whoa, whoa, I never realized what a kiss could be. This could only happen to me. Can't you see? Can't you see? That when I tell you that I love you, oh, you're gonna say you love me too.
Listen to that, man.
Oh.
I'm gonna back that up again. That right there, that last part to me exemplifies the growth, right? Would you hear that in the first album? No. It's just been 2 years since the first two records, or the first batch of songs that I heard.
That when I tell you that I love you, oh, you're gonna say you love me too. Oh, and when I ask you to be mine, you're gonna say you love me too. You love me too.
new melodies, trying out new sounds, growth in the writing, certainly a lot of evolution here to take away from these two songs. Now, always going to be as honest as I can with the music and what I think of the music. Are these tracks absolutely blowing me away, and am I going to add them to my playlist to be listening to all the time? Not yet. They're not quite there for me. But as a lover of music and as a lover of where things come from and the idea that it has to start somewhere and pushing it forward, this is right up there, man. You can hear it, and it's very cool to be a part of trying to understand this, because I guess people who grow up in my situation won't ever get this idea of understanding where a lot of the things we see in music come from, and this is a part of why I do this thing, kind of to educate myself at the same time. Cool stuff, man. On to the next.